What is up everyone, Fred here from Seals Gaming, and today I am so excited to talk to you about State of Decay 2. State of Decay 2 is the newest release from Undead Labs and Microsoft Studios and is the sequel to the wildly popular State of Decay. It is currently available in the Microsoft Store, and as always I will leave a link in the description below in case you want to check it out after this video. In State of Decay 2, you play as a group of survivors just trying your best to survive the zombie apocalypse. And you do this by scavenging, making allies, fighting off zombie hordes with various weapons, and of course smashing them with your car door. When you start a game in State of Decay 2, you must pick a survivor scenario to play through and then pick a territory in which you want to start building your base. This area can be either the plateau, the valley, or the hills. You pick a survivor and go look for a high place from where you can scout the town you're in. And then you start scrounging for resources which will help you build more facilities in your home base, like an infirmary, workshop, or a farm. Because in the game, there are basic resources that your community needs to thrive, which are food, medicine, ammo, building materials, and fuel. If either of these ever run out, your community's morale will fall, which is not ideal. In State of Decay 2, your base and your community is your home, and they're what you're fighting to protect.
Hang in there, everyone. We're gonna get through this. A wave of zombies about to hit us.
On top of scavenging for resources, you can also make allies with other groups of survivors. These enclaves offer different benefits and items for trade, and maybe there might even be a recruit for your group in their midst. But if you're not careful and you disappoint or ignore them, they will turn hostile and try to kill you whenever you approach their base.
That's not good. So what? This is a regular thing now? I'm not okay with this.
In State of Decay 2, the survivors and their skill sets play just as big a role as your base does. You do not play as one single character, but as your entire community. You pick a character and then you play it until he or she grows tired, and then you switch to another survivor. As you play your characters, they'll level up skills such as shooting and fighting, which will unlock different special attacks and additional benefits. And on top of these benefits, each character also has a standing in the community, which is similar to reputation. This ranges from the outsider status to the hero status, and when you reach hero status on a character, it will unlock an additional character trait and the option to make that specific survivor the leader of your community. I myself chose to build a Courtney as my leader, which meant that I unlocked the option of a sniper tower in my base that could aid me with firing support when I felt overwhelmed. Depending on which leader you pick, there will also be a twist in the main story, but I will not spoil that for you. The last and most important thing you need to know about your survivors in State of Decay 2 is that if they die permanently, even if you're in another player's game. You have to be careful and strategical in your approach to what buildings you're going to scavenge and whether you do it at night or day, because during the night the zombies become much more aggressive and it is a lot harder to see bad things coming at you. I definitely had some close calls. I played the first State of Decay game a lot, and I really like many of the things they added in the sequel, like the leader option and the increased depth to the characters. Because what I loved about the first game was that you formed an attachment to your survivors when you played them for so long, and the sequel does not disappoint in this aspect. Moreover, I like the fact that you're not only fighting zombies this time around, but also humans. But let's be honest, we're all here to see the brain-smashing and thrilling combat that State of Decay 2 has to offer, and it does not let you down.
Looks like we have a screamer over here.
Different to its predecessor, State of Decay 2 has something called plague hearts, and clearing these are a big aspect of the game. These plague hearts are the cause of a new breed of zombies called plague zombies. These red-eyed devils will infect your survivors with blood plague whenever they hit you, and if you're not careful, your infected survivor might turn into a zombie. The plague zombies do not like it when you try to kill one of their plague hearts, and they will come at you in numbers. On top of plague zombies, you'll still have to deal with all the lovely special zombies from the first game as well. There's the feral, which is like a rabid dog sprinting after you, trying to murder you in any way it can. And then there's the bloater, which is a bit more subtle, but nonetheless deadly as hell if you don't notice it. There's also the screamer, I think you should take a look for yourself here. And lastly, the Juggernaut. Oh, the Juggernaut, how I have missed this big guy. But not really. There's nothing more frightening in this game than being forced down an alleyway with the Juggernaut while you frantically unload every shot you have into its face trying to bring it down. But when you finally do bring it down, it has a pretty cool execution scene attached to it. And State of Decay 2 has these small execution scenes all over the game, which spices the combat up quite a lot. State of Decay 2 brings its successful combat from the first game back, and it is just as awesome as I remember it, if not even better this time around. The variety of weapons and tactics you can use to create murder and mayhem in this game rivals the Dead Rising series. And I also quite like the addition of the plague hearts and their waves of zombies. It forces you to occasionally go out and risk your neck, which is the most fun and scary thing to do in State of Decay 2. I enjoy the vehicle upgrades they've added in the sequel a lot, and these let you create a zombie killing fortress on wheels, and it is just awesome. Simply put, the combat is fun and intense, I love it, and I think you will too. When it comes to replayability, State of Decay 2 is hard to pinpoint, because when you have scavenged for several hours, your base is fully upgraded and your survivors are maxed out in their skills, you can choose to start a new community or move your current to a new territory. Scavenging and keeping your base stocked with supplies starts to feel more like a task than a gaming experience, which I do not enjoy. But at the same time, every time you go out, something new happens and you keep finding yourself in sticky situations. And the combat definitely carries this game, but is that enough? I don't think so. The late game in State of Decay 2 has a tendency to get quite grindy, which is a shame because the game is so well made. I feel like this is a thing that could have been fixed by creating a main story with a bit more depth, because that is something State of Decay 2 lacks, depth in the story.
And if we can make this little town better, well, I believe we can do it again. And again.
The biggest hype about State of Decay 2 though, is its multiplayer aspect. The first State of Decay game was awesome, but it was limited to single player, so when I heard the sequel was gonna have multiplayer, I was so excited. And the multiplayer is cool and fun, but in my opinion it also lacks a lot. You can join other people's games and help them with their missions and scavenging, and in return you get increasingly better rewards the more you help them. It is pretty fun to run around with your friends clearing plague hearts and doing missions, but I could not shake the feeling that it was not my community. And that is a problem because it ruins the multiplayer experience when you cannot focus on just having fun because you worry about your own community. I would have liked to see the multiplayer be something where you and your friends could create a community together and work towards its success in the same game, instead of just joining each other randomly and doing stuff that feels somewhat pointless. The multiplayer is a welcome addition to State of Decay 2, and it is awesome that you can play this cool game with your friends, but frankly, I'm a bit disappointed by it. Graphically, the game has taken a big step up using the Unreal 4 engine, and it helps you immerse yourself in the zombie apocalypse. I love doing missions at night and just spotting those glowing red eyes of a plague zombie in the distance. Soundtrack wise, the game brings back its rural American music to underline your journey through the different landscapes State of Decay 2 has to offer. And the mix of the new graphics and similar style of the soundtrack from the first game really helps you immerse yourself in this shattered world. State of Decay 2 is what a zombie apocalypse game should be. It is a good mix of community and survivor management, combat and scavenging. It balances itself on the line between realism and fiction with the need for essential resources for your community and the special zombies and plague hearts. And even though its story might lack a bit of depth and the multiplayer wasn't what I had hoped, it is still an extremely immersive and entertaining game. The fact that your survivor dies permanently loads everything you do with a lot more risk, which makes for an intense experience. Undead Labs have taken everything that was awesome about the first game and improved upon it in this sequel, and added many new cool things as well. It is nice to see that the developers have listened to their community and made a game based on that feedback, and we here at Seals Gaming give State of Decay 8 out of 10. So if you like the zombie apocalypse genre and always wanted to test how you would fare in one, this is the game for you. And as a final note, I would like to make everyone aware that State of Decay 2 is available for PC and Xbox One. Other than that, if you like this video, don't hesitate to leave a like and a comment below, or even better, if you like our content, hit that big red subscribe button. Thank you very much for watching.